do I find it hard to let go and let God? Why do I find it hard to let go and let God? There are things that I have put into place that I wanted to see happen in my life. And I put this plan together. I set all my goals up. I did all of my things, all of what I wanted, all of what I desired. And for these last couple of years is to make room for God. And I think that is primarily the reason why we don't let God in. It's because we've not made room. So we can talk about intimate relationships. We can talk about relationships with your children, talk about relationships with your friends, your coworkers, your relationship with your job or your business partners, your relationships with individuals that you're a part of in terms of memberships and organizations. Whatever type of relationship that you are in or preparing to start, us all, we need to make room for God first. Before we start building, before we start working on things and starting to the getting to know you, like we talked about the last couple of weeks ago, allow God the space to come in. And sometimes I think that the reason why we don't want God to intervene is because we don't want to do it His way, which is what I alluded to earlier. We want to do it our way. We have our own plans in place. We have our own ideas. We've put this whole agenda together that which we will implement. We're going to figure it out. We're going to go this way because this is the way we think we need to go. But it's not until we actually settle within ourselves that God knows far more than we know. And it comes with a level of trust. How is it that we can put more energy into learning to trust a man or a woman or a company, a business partner, more than we trust God? So we can invest all of this, whatever it is that we want to pour into a relationship, we invest all of that into a relationship and put that trust in that relationship more than we put it into God. But the moment that things start getting unsettled, the moment that things start getting a little rocky, then we find ourselves needing to fall on our knees and ask God to intervene. Well, we did it the wrong way. We built it the wrong way. And that's why we don't want God to intervene. That's why it's so hard to let go of the reins. Like we're on a horse carriage, and the thing is that carriage is out of control, but you want to get the carriage in control. But did you let God help you to get into the carriage? Did you allow God to teach you and develop you on how to ride and drive the carriage? Or did you just jump in and ride it yourself, by yourself, wanted to learn it by yourself, get to where you wanted to go by yourself, and then you wanted to wait until you get into trouble, and then you cry and ask God, help me, I need your help. But the perfect time for all of us to allow God in, to let God, is at the beginning. The safest place to allow God to show you certain things that you didn't see. Let's talk about that. We miss a lot of things, but how many of us actually see things and then we pretend like we don't? We basically unsee the thing. I didn't see that. I didn't hear that. That's not, and then we're in denial. We think that what I saw wasn't really bad. Let's just give these people the benefit of the doubt. We ignore all those signs and we jump right in, hand and feet first, trying to build that relationship, trying to make that commitment happen, trying to make that job do what it do and grow and get you to the levels and the roles that you desire to. And then when those red flags, like a lot of people talk about on social media now, those red flags start rearing that ugly head, that's when we, well, God, how could you let me get into this place? How could you let me get right here? Well, God didn't do it. You did. We did. So, yeah, you don't want to let go because now we're looking crazy. We're looking crazy now. And so it's a teaching moment. It's an opportunity for us to recognize. And sometimes we ignore it and we just keep moving. But in my experiences, especially now at this stage in my life, in this season of my life, like when I see those types of red flags and those signs to tell me that this relationship is not what I puff it up to be, this situation is not what I puff it up to be, I stop. I stop what I'm doing and I allow God to speak. And one day I'm going to show you guys my little space whenever I have an opportunity to do so. I'm going to show you my space, and this is the space that I go to. Practically every morning when I get up, there's a place that I go to, and this is my place where I talk to God. I talk to God all throughout the day, no matter where I am, but I do have a designated place where some people call their prayer closet. But I get into this place and I just have my open dialogue with God, and I talk to him about the things that I'm dealing with, the things that I desire, and I give him room to talk to me. I sit in the quiet, I open the window, I listen to nature, and then just in that time, I'm giving God the space to speak to me, to encourage me, to pour into me, to bring forth revelation. So I give him that time to show me whatever it is that he needs to show me. And more times than not, I am free. There's deliverance in those moments. Like I come out of those conversations with God so fulfilled and so full of purpose and so excited and just so positive. And this is how I can go to my job, start working, and come across very positive and having a excited attitude and a just ready to take over the world. Basically, I can do anything when I'm pumped up from God's presence. So during that time when I'm spending time with God, it's my opportunity to unleash and allow God to show me things that I've been ignoring. How would it be if I continued to just ignore all the things that are actually going to help me to get further along in my life? This is what happens when we choose to not let go. We're holding on to whatever ideas, maybe the things that we thought, maybe it's the guilt, maybe it's the shame, maybe you're holding on because you're fearful of not being successful or something not going the way you planned it. And so you hold on, you grip whatever you have left, you're trying to hold on to it for dear life, simply because you're afraid. You're afraid to allow God to intervene so he can. Listen, God slaps me into place and it doesn't feel good in the beginning, but boy, when I get out of that, I'm in such a good place. I'm free. I'll use for an example today. I've been having a very rough couple of days within myself, and I've been dealing with a lot of stress with my job as well as in my personal life. Just dealing with a lot of things that I'm trying to accomplish and that I'm trying to complete, tasks that I'm trying to complete, and things that I need to get done that are not easy. And sometimes these things are things that God has placed, placed in my life for me to do. And I'm like, God, how am I going to do this? It seems impossible. And I feel like I'm doing this alone. So I've internalized a lot of things in the last couple of days. And this compounded on the stress and strain of work, which has been pretty heavy this week. And so I was at a breaking point, to the point where I was ready to just shut down my computer and say, I'm done for the day. I don't want to deal with anybody else. Like, if you talk about a short fuse, today was the day that I had the short fuse. Pretty much, you could ask me, can I borrow a penny? And I probably would have bit your finger off. Like, it was just that much pressure on me. And so I had to disconnect from work. I'm like, y'all can email me, call me all you want, but I have to get back to me. And so if you're following me on Instagram, I posted a reel today where I said, God, I'm grateful because I can be me in your presence. I can't be me at work. I really sometimes can't be me with my family because, you have to put that game face on, especially when they rely on you for certain things. And so I can be God. I can be by myself with God and be myself. And so I was able to just relax and just be myself, be my crazy self. I vented. I was venting like it was my bestie. I vented. I talked. I was just talking crazy about how people were acting and people were being lazy. Like, I was just going off in the presence of God. And it was in that moment where he just told me, he said, stop what you're doing, and I want you to separate the things that you're dealing with work and the things that you're dealing with your personal life. Because what you're doing is you're putting all that stuff in one bucket. How is it that you can even focus to be able to, select one or two things to focus on when you put in all these things in the bucket, as if all these things can get fixed at the same time? Realistically, I know that, but what I was doing, I was spiraling. I was causing myself to spiral out of control because everything compounded was on me. And so had I not let go and let God, sat down, got quiet, and allowed him to speak to me, I would have still been carrying that. The tension that was on this side, the tension that stays right here, it would still be here. The headache that I've been having for the last 2 days would still be making me miserable. But I'm smiling, I'm excited, I'm not burdened down. I'm not worried about what's going on with work. I'm not worried about what could or couldn't happen with my personal life and my business and my ministry. I'm not worried about those things because I let go and I just let God, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to handle everything. But the thing about it is that, like I've alluded to earlier, is that we have to give him space in the beginning. And once you start that trajectory, you start getting to know God and his character. That's one thing that I appreciate. I got to know his character as I just allow him to just be a part of my early decision making. Before I commit to something, before I make any type of decision, I want him to be a part of it so I can hear his insight, so that I'm not just going off of what I think or feel or what somebody else thinks or feels or what society may project upon me. I don't want to just be driven by those things, because I've been driven by those things before, and I know where I'm going to be headed if I keep allowing those things to lead my life. I prefer and I desire to have God to be have dominion over my life, because he made me. He knows everything that there is to know about me, and I trust him. I trust him. I trust his word. I trust all things concerning God, and still learning to trust him every single day. So in an effort to put yourself in a position where you allow God to intervene, and you recognize that, God, I need to trust you more so that I can let things go, so that I can let plans go, so that I can let plans go, so that I can let even commitments go, so that I can allow you to intervene, even when it doesn't feel good, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it seems like it doesn't make sense. Other people will judge us and say, that doesn't make sense, because we're walking a faith walk. This is a spiritual growth walk with God our Father. And so we have to learn how to trust God in the beginning. And whatever level of trust that we can muster up, we put that thing to work. And sometimes we have to, not sometimes, all of the time, we have to create our statements, our mission and our vision statements, and continue to declare what we believe. I trust you, God, with this relationship. I trust you, God, with this situation, with this child, with this house, with my finances. I trust you with these things, God. Even though maybe what you say, what you reveal, what you allow, God, may not make sense to me, but it doesn't have to make sense to my carnal mind. It makes sense in the spirit, because God says all things work together for the good if we love him. If we love him, and if we love him, we'll learn to trust him, and we will allow him to come into our lives and get all up in our business and take up residence. That's what makes the difference. That's what makes the difference for me every single day. Even when I have my tough days, when I have my tough weeks, and I declare for the rest of this year, as a matter of fact, for the rest of this lifetime, I am not going to have whole weeks where I am distraught and frustrated and aggravated. I'm not going to do that, because I'm putting into practice that I need to stop, separate all the madness that I'm trying to clump up into one ball. Can you imagine like putting all the things in one ball? All the things that you're dealing with in one ball? Like, how can you see things? How can you differentiate the things? It's all one ball. That's how I was handling my life for that brief moment today. And that's what's been on my shoulders for the last 2 to 3 days. And God says, if you're going to let it go, if you're going to release it, you got to release it to me. And if you're going to release it to me, you're going to do it my way. And that's exactly what I did. So why do I find it hard to let go and let God? Because I want to do it my way. This is the nature of, this is the human nature. But if you want to grow spiritually, if you want to have a healthy relationship with God, so that you can learn to build healthy relationships with everyone else in your life, then start here with God and begin to make those declarations about your trust. Identify what you trust God with, and then begin to think about how much more you can trust God in other areas of your life. Like, begin to build on that trust. God, I trust you with this, but I want to trust you with this, God. And I'm going to do these things to put that measure into place so that I can grow my trust in you. And I know as my trust builds, my faith will build, and it will cause me to do things that I normally wouldn't do. I could talk about this all day because I'm getting happy and excited about it. But this is one of the reasons I can imagine why we find it hard to let go and let God. But I want this to encourage you all to put some things into practice, to trust God, and to make those declarations every day, so that you can draw nearer to him spiritually, so that you can grow spiritually, so that you can begin to handle situations and pull out of things that may not be the best for you, and then allow God to help you to rebuild things that are broken down, things that are not working. Allow him to help you to undo, so that you can build again with him. But so I hope that this has been a blessing to you, and please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will definitely be back with you guys again on the 4th Wednesday of August with one of the other questions. If you guys have any other questions pertaining to spiritual growth, please let me know. They don't have to be a why question, but feel free to share. I thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your day and a great and fantabulous week. Love you.